It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's an amazing event, and I'd like to congratulate my friend and colleague, Arwin, for helping bring this here, because it's absolutely mind-boggling to think that you've all come here to Wales to celebrate the industry as you have. So, I'm now going to try and keep enthusiasm going, and with government as the suggested topic, that's not so easy, is it, nowadays, with things that are happening in every part of the world. But let's look at how every one of you who have come here today, not simply, but as major participants in chefing, but you're also here as with public spirit. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be part of the Congress. You wouldn't be interested in the community that comes around businesses. And that already is the founding part of partnership work. And I want to explore how we can take that on further with some of the things that we're doing here in Wales. First of all, I represent UK Hospitality. It's a trade association in the UK for hotels, pubs, cafes, restaurants, everything, escape rooms, activities. We've got over 750 companies across the UK. We operate 140,000 venues. You can see the number of people there, and that many people in Wales. So today, we're looking to see how we can pass on some of the information that I've brought together over the last 25 years of working here within the industry, and to see how relevant that is to be able to apply it in the places that you come from. Look at some of these figures. Let's start off by just sort of celebrating exactly what the industry does. I won't recite them, you can see them. That's the worldwide picture. It's astonishing to think just how important we are to every single nation's economy, every community's economy, and the social life and the well-being of the people who live in it. Let's go to Europe. There you can see the European numbers. It's incredible. These are the UK numbers. It's astonishing, isn't it? That you're part of this amazing collective economic importance, social importance, community importance. Here in Wales, here are our figures. We have 3.2 million people in Wales, around about 1.8 million people in work. We provide 165,000 of those jobs at all levels, with probably another 40,000 jobs in the supply chain, dependent on our different businesses, which is 5% of the economy. And the contribution that we make, and this is part of our reason for talking about government, 1.5 billion in tax receipts. There's absolutely no doubt that within the UK, this industry is overtaxed. Because we're bricks and mortar businesses, we're static, we're identifiable, we're not part of the new breed of businesses that are internet-based. We're not out of town, or largely not out of town. We're in prime positions, and those prime positions are always subject to tax hits. However, we are an economic powerhouse. So you might think, well, why do we need this form of representation? We should be blatantly identifiable to government. And so, can't we just go on without it? Well, the answer is we're not, are we? The difference is that within our industry, we have an awful lot of small, very important sized businesses. We don't, for instance, have a steelworks. We don't have a major identifiable employment unit, which politicians like to identify with. If it's a steelworks, they'll visit it. They know that there are an awful lot of local jobs dependent on it, but we are fragmented because by the nature of it, we run small businesses or smaller businesses. So we need to get together to be able to make the case about how important we are to government. That's the first thing. But there are other opportunities as well. If we get together, we can maximize the benefits that you all know every day of your working life that this industry provides. We need to tell that story. We need to tell it not only through individual action, but by collective action. And in doing so, we need to remove some of the misconceptions that exist about people who don't understand our industry and maybe prohibit younger people from going into our industry. There are all sorts of misconceptions which are bandied about from schools and teachers, and that's an obstacle for us to recruit the type of people that we're looking to do to perpetuate the businesses and to extend and grow the businesses that we have. There's also an opportunity here, because if we don't intervene, government will do it anyway. And that's what we see about taxation, and also what we see about some of the other things they're involved with. There are three major areas, really. Regeneration is a very big part of government work. Employment and skills, another very big area. And inward investment, particularly in nations where there are areas of the economy that they're looking to increase and fulfill. They try to bring in outside expertise. And those three areas are areas where we can have a considerable influence on making that policy suitable for the industry. And the whole point of this is that we need to get across what we think the industry needs, not what government thinks the industry needs. And I'll come back later to talking about breaking down departmental barriers. So there are three areas. Regeneration. What we provide, when you regenerate an area, it's because generally the industry of that area has changed. They no longer have the economic vibrancy that was there before. It could be that it's a Docklands, it might well be a high street, but these are essential areas of government intervention, and at every single occasion, our businesses are part of that regeneration. They're the heart of it, because when you change the setting, you don't just simply build units, you put a heart into those communities, and we are the pulse, we are the heartbeat. It's the local pub, it's the local restaurants, the cafes, the collective areas of social integration. That's what we are. And we have to build, we have to encourage the building of new regenerative projects around our businesses and the encouragement to produce further businesses so that there is more of a community unit within it. So we are right at the heart of social cohesion and, of course, safety in those areas. The more that we have a regulated space, the safer those areas are. So it's integral to a successful regenerative development that our businesses are involved. And we have to play our part in pushing that case across. Similarly, where we're looking at skills and employment, we can provide millions of jobs around the world, hundreds of thousands of jobs within the UK. And we need people to come in, we need to get the right people, the people who have the social skills, the people who are keen to be able to talk to customers and who want an advancement. And let's face it, we are a meritocracy in our industry. It's a fantastic industry. It's one of the few that you can think of where you can enter with very little qualification and you can very quickly, rapidly move on. And it provides fantastic inspiration and innovation along the route. And we need to sell that into government, because where they're looking at skills and employment, we must be at the heart of it. And finally, inward investment. If you're looking to bring people in from different parts of the world, bringing companies, trying to encourage a development of a sector or a cluster of different businesses, it's our businesses that are attractive to them. Where you want to live, what is available to you, again, restaurants, hotels, all of the infrastructure that actually makes it attractive to an international business to come into an area is dependent largely on the infrastructure of our businesses that are around. And UK Hospitality has tried to emphasize the importance of that well-being network that we create by producing a social productivity index, which is a grand set of words for really looking at how we can depict to government the influence that we have in communities, apart from economic, the other influences we have to do with culture and looking at bringing other qualities into their regeneration and inward investment process. So, in bringing together government and industry ambitions, we can take advantage of some of the available opportunities. Nearly every business nowadays has an interest in green development and making sure that it's energy efficient. And there should be opportunities by working with government, which is on the same agenda, to put our industry at the forefront of those different, the different government agenda. In the same sort of way as sustainability is a key issue. There are elements, we see it in Wales, where there was criticism of visitors because it has an impact on local landscapes, you know, litter and various other suggestions are attributed to this. It's about time we think that we're able to get our industry to lead on these issues and not to receive on these issues. And we'll be looking to work together here with the local government to see what we can do about an industry-led sustainability policy. And of course, encouraging joined-up government. If you look at nearly any government, anywhere in the world, there will be divisions in that government that are set along departmental boundaries. Here are some of the typical areas of government that are divided out and separated. And they're pretty near ring-fenced, and they have their own teams, their own minister, and there's not that great deal of conversation between the two. And yet, if you think about our industry, it actually needs to be involved with all of those different areas. Obviously, economy, energy, and planning. You know, planning access is a very important thing for most of our businesses, particularly when you're looking to expand or to bring in new business or set up new businesses. We need people to be able to visit us, transport, and roads. Health regulation is an enormous part of our work. Diet, nutrition, we have sugar taxes. All these areas are imposed by the health specialists in government, but not necessarily in association with the economy specialists in government. And that's where we want some sort of connection. It's the same with all of those other departments. So what we need to try to do as a unit is to bring together our industry with all of those different categories and stop this sort of barriers that occur between departments. And that's again an area where a representative body and your own individual efforts can make a difference. So what we're doing here next, we have a new government in Wales. So we've set about looking to combine the industry's asks, what is the need that comes from each of the different businesses that we represent, and to put those into the new government. We're looking to form a new deal for the visitor economy. What that means really is putting the industry right at the heart of government, an integral part of the economic policy of that government. And we also need to have a regular, and this is something we don't have at the moment, is a regular conversational opportunity. We need to have a trade body access so that we can have continual conversations. And where governments are able to come up with policies, they have to be industry-led and industry-participated. I want to bring you on to two other things about partnership work that we've done here. And again, I'd like to thank Arwen. We've done so much together over the last 10 years. About 10 years ago, the skills network in Wales was fragmented. The providers and the educationalists, the careers system, and the qualification system were all separately being handled. The industry was at a remote arm's length. And so together, we created a partnership where all of those bodies sat around the table and actually discussed the integral parts of their work and how they could all move forward together. It seems a simple thing, but it isn't, because practices grow over a period of time. People get protective, they put their arms around their budgets and their curricula, and the industry gets on with its job and doesn't always have the time to be able to put into influence in these key areas. Well, what we did with the Hospitality and Tourism Skills Partnership in Wales is to bring them all together actively, put a proactive and positive agenda forward. There was no recriminations, there was no sort of mudslinging between our organizations. This was all about how can we move forward positively And within a few years, and this includes obviously the difficult years over COVID, we've had assistance from government that includes a £250,000 recruitment campaign, which is industry-led and shows people like yourselves explaining why you think it is wonderful to be a part of our industry. And that's being projected out to be able to help recruit more young people to come and follow the footsteps that you have. So it's industry-led. The majority on that group was deliberately created so that it would be industry-led, and we have representatives from all the regions of Wales and the sectors within hospitality in Wales. And it's proven to be, I think, a great success. And it's put tentacles out into schools and colleges, and also in the industry know where to go when they want immediate answers. And we're still building, but that is an example, I think, of where you can combine the industry, government, and central government, local government, central government, and the industry together, and make more with added value than you had originally. And I'd like to finish with another area, because not only do individual businesses not work in isolation, but the industry doesn't work in isolation either. You are a really important part of the farm-to-fork food chain. And every single part of that chain is dependent on the other. Otherwise, nothing actually operates. And there can't be anything more important to any nation than its food security, its food quality, and the provision of food for the people who live in it. So what I've done in the last 2 years is talk to and bring together the people who are involved in representing the different elements of the farm-to-fork network. We call it Food 7 Cymru, Food 7 Wales, and the 7 trade associations represent 2 farming trade unions. They're the 2 farming unions, the NFU here and the Farmers Union of Wales. We have the Welsh Retail Consortium that represents shops, the Association of Convenience Stores that represents local shops, the Food and Drink Federation that is part of the manufacturing process of food, ourselves, UK Hospitality, obviously involved in the delivery of food at the hospitality level, and finally Logistics UK, who are charged with bringing all of those together using the road and rail network for deliveries. And those 7 organizations now get around the table, talk positively, in combined ways deal with government, prevent those departmental breakages that we've seen in the past, don't allow divide and conquering, which happens sometimes where one industry might be favored against another. And the whole objective is to help government to produce policies, including skills and sustainability, but also economic policies that put the food industry at the very top of the Welsh economic set of priorities. Now, we haven't been there. I think it was 2008, we didn't even make the top 16 key sectors in Wales, which is quite incredible to think of now. It moved to the top 9 about 9 years ago, and we are now a central part under a group which is called the Foundation Economy, which makes and helps decide government policy. But we're not content to end there, because I know the enthusiasm that all of you share for your industry, for your business, for your day-to-day work. I know, I understand it. I'm passionate about the industry. I'm also passionate about politics, but I believe it will create the change which helps us in our day-to-day work. It will help eventually for governments to understand the relationship between taxation and your development and employment. It will help to bring about greener, better, more sustainable solutions with government, because we understand how things work. They may talk in philosophical concepts, we talk in practical concepts. Put those 2 together, you have a far better product than you would do if either was operated in isolation. So the whole point of this is to say there is always an opportunity, always, for a degree of partnership work and partnership benefit, whether it's your work expounding how well you do to people who will listen, your customers, whether it's talking to the media and putting across how important the industry is and what it does, whether it's talking to your local government representatives, your national government representatives, using trade organizations to petition for change. The opportunities are always there. Partnership working is always available. And the end result is the slogan that the Welsh football team used for the first time when it got to a World Cup 4 years ago. In 60 years was the first time we got there. And the slogan was, "Together stronger." And I believe that that is the way that this industry can maximize the tremendous growth potential that it has by bringing together not only itself and talking to itself, but talking to and influencing the supply chain, the media, your customers, and government at all levels. And if we carry on and use this as the blueprint for further development, then I'm convinced that this is a recipe that will end up with really developing government policy on a plate. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Thank you so much.